Yeah, behold my sexy, glistening body. Fresh from the sweat brought on by the inferno that is Texas. Yeah, great. Yeah, so I'm starving. I'm fucking starving. And my new wife here, the Ninja Foodi Tendercrisp 6.5 quart, is gonna help me with that. Every once in a blue moon, it's like I would bring food into work, like, you know, for like me and like 2 other people, you know, because you know, I'm not one of these brownies that are trying to, like, you know, suck the entire pile of coworkers off, you know. I'm not making like big feasts for anybody here, you know. But sometimes I just overmake things on purpose, you know, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll bring some into work. And one of the things is cheese wonton, you know. And one guy at work, his name's Chris. He just recently quit. Every time he had it, he would be like, "This is way better than the stuff that I would get at a Chinese buffet." And he'd be like, "Wah, wah, baby want cheesy." Wah. No, he wasn't like that. But he wanted to know how to make them, you know. And I don't know, I just kept putting it off, and for whatever reason, I don't know. But it's really fucking simple. And now that fucking air fryers are such a thing, especially this fucking model. Yeah, this fucking model specifically. Game changer. This is a flying car of food processing, of food making. This is just... This is everything. I cook spaghetti in this. I cook fucking cheese wonton in this. I cook fucking pounds of fucking fried rice in this. I mean, you still might want to fry it in a wok or something, but... I mean, if you're not trying to be like all clever and shit with it, you know, you can... It's a little bit mushier than throwing it into a fucking frying pan or whatnot, but it's just... This thing... I could put a human baby in this. It would come out delicious. Anyway, cheese wonton. What do you need? At its most basic, you need wonton wrappers. I was going to do a stupid joke there, but that would be gay as fuck. You need a block of cream cheese, just one. Well, there's 2 here, but you just need one. And you need Worcestershire sauce, you know, and you don't want to fucking put too much in here. And speaking of not putting too much in, this isn't essential, but I've found it to be pretty damn kick-ass. Oyster sauce. And again, you want to put just a dot, a speck of this in there. Maybe like 2 little... And that's it, because if you put any more, it's just going to be a salty pile of shit in your mouth. That tastes like cream cheese. So, yeah. I used to make crab rangoon. You know, I would buy crab, you know, for like, you know, $80 a can or whatever the fuck they charge, you know. And I'd toss it in there and I'd be like, oh, I made crab rangoon. And it's like, you don't taste the crab at all. The crab just gets lost inside the cream cheese, lost inside the Worcestershire sauce. And it's like, you know, I came to a conclusion long ago that crab is pretty bullshit. Like, I remember my Uncle Mac, we were up on an island up in Maine, and he brought me to this hotel that had a restaurant at the bottom of it, and he got me, like, a Krabby Patty, like a proper, you know, some lobster boat guy just dropped off a bunch of crab, and they just made this kind of crab patty, you know, not the shit you buy in a fucking store. And, yeah, that tasted like crab. I mean, if you've ever cooked a crab or had crab legs, you kind of know what crab tastes like in relation to lobster and other things. And that was the only time in my life I had a fucking crab patty that tasted like fucking crab. And, it's like, the same thing here. Once you mix fucking crab in with cream cheese, it's gone. It's bye-bye. It's not there anymore. It's pointless. So, I just stopped adding crab. It's just strictly a cheese wonton now. And, yeah. Let's get to it. Plop. Yeah, as I said, you don't want to put too much of Worcestershire in there. Just a little bit. Bloop, 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 bloop. That's plenty. And definitely not this. Bloop. 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 Come on, bitch. Boop. Trust me, it doesn't look like much, but it goes far. And you know what? No, I'm skipping a step here. You want to jam it into a microwave. And you want to do that for 1 minute. Okay, it's making a racket in there, so I'm going to take it out. It's making sounds. Anyway. So yeah, you want to whip that up a bit. And now that you've had it cooked just for a minute, as you can see, it's very, very malleable. And at this point, you can actually get a little stupid with it. Look at this. I'm throwing parsley in it. I have no fucking idea why. What? Garlic powder? Oh, sure, why not? Onion powder? Bitch, you are out of control. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to put any more in there. But yeah, fuck crab. When it comes to this, anyway. Like, I don't know what people cook with crab in a can at all, because it just gets lost in whatever it touches. Okay, now one reason I make stuff for people at work occasionally is that wonton wrappers are highly reactive. Like, if you throw them into hot burning oil like I used to do, they instantaneously pop up. They're reactive, like with yeasty type of effect almost. And the whole reason that's bad is that it makes it so once they hit open air, once they're out of the wrappers, the wrapper here, it ends up wanting to react with the air. It becomes hard and crunchy, or it just creates mold really fast. So you got to use them when you open them, pretty much. Yeah, as you can see there, you just need a little bit, not much at all. Close her up. Bloop, 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 bloop. And I put it straight into the fryer pot there. Just lean it up against the wall there. Yeah, my wife and I, back when she was still alive, we'd go to new Chinese buffets, and it was, you never knew what you were going to get, but cheese wontons always seemed to be, like, identical. Because they probably get them, like, shipped in from, like, some mafia-type place or some shit. It's just like a Chinese food distributor, and you know, they're not even made in store, I bet. This stuff is thin. You gotta be careful with your giant fucking Frankenstein hands. Yeah, we went into one Chinese buffet, and it was just a glorious place. And, you know, my wife was an asshole. She was. And she had to ask everything. She had to try to be, like, their culture and stuff, and she would be acting all, like, petite and shit, all weird, and I'm like, dude, this isn't you. But she would see like, you know, the waitress would come over. You know, the Asian waitress, whatever nationality that was. And she's like, what's your name? And the lady's like, oh, my name is Candy. And, you know, I just looked at her like, yeah, your parents named you Candy. I'm so sure, you know. But I, you know, I didn't say that. then we go to another Chinese place, you know, like further away. And my wife's pulling the same shit. She's like, oh, what's your name? You know, because she has to know everything about everything. And the Asian lady's like, oh, my name is Chocolate. And I look at my wife and I'm like, are you fucking shitting me? You know, she walks away and I'm like, are you seeing the pattern here? This is probably like a family of like Asians from like South Korea or something that came over here. And they just like renamed everybody after like confectionery shit. I'm like, yeah, I'm so sure that Asian lady 1 in this town and Asian lady 2 over, you know, like a couple miles over, I'm so sure that one's named Candy and one's named Chocolate. I just thought that was hilarious. And one of the things my wife would do, man, my wife, essentially, she was a scam artist. She was a scam artist. She was on the cover of the New York Times at one point. She had a cellmate on Rikers Island. She was cellmate with Amy Fisher, if you ever heard of that chick before. It was a thing in the news back then. Too hard to figure out right now. But, you know, it's like living with my wife was like living with Saul Goodman. She was constantly in an ever-present state of just trying to fuck one over on someone. And it's like, the whole 12 years I was with her, and I mean this completely, the whole 12 years I was with her was like me keeping the lid on Pandora's box. Because she was always up to something, this girl. Oh. I mean, in New York, I mean, she got in trouble because she was doing scams, and she had lawyers and cops and, you know, high-powered people, actually. You know, postal employees coming to her to, like, pick up merchandise that she had scammed from the internet and through phone, you know. And eventually, one day, some druggie that was living with her turned on her computer when she wasn't there, and all the safeguards that she usually would go through to not get, you know, traced, he didn't do that. He just turned her computer on and boom, she's on the cover of the New York Times. And, you know, it's kind of like the way they do drug stuff, you know, or guns. It's like, oh, we seized a bunch of guns. And it's like, they just take, like, broken pieces of gun and put it on a blanket and make it look worse than it was. And then it's like, you know, they took, like, pieces of broken VCR and shit, because the guy that was living with her, you know, fixed VCRs for people, you know. So it's like they had her computer, plus a bunch of dead computer components, plus all these dead pieces of VCR, all on this blanket to make a picture for the front page. It's like, yeah, I don't know, it's just comical. Absolutely comical how law enforcement works sometimes with the news. But, yeah, it was par for the course back then. But yeah, the whole time I was with her, man, I stopped her from doing so many bad things. Now, one thing I fucked up on here is I'm using a fork for this, but every damn time I forget halfway that I should be using a spoon, because to get all the shit out of the bowl here, you really need a spoon. Yeah, I feel bad about my ex-wife. She was a clever person. But also, like I said, well, she abused the hell out of me. I mean, I guess by all accounts you could say she was evil. But I put up with it because I knew the monster that made her. I met the monster that made her. And, you know, it's amazing she functioned as well as she had. But, yeah. I'll shut up. Get back to just cooking. Yeah, if you've been watching that Johnny Depp Amber Heard court case, a lot of the shit Amber did, my wife used to do. Up to and including shitting in places she shouldn't. Yep. I wasn't even doing drugs. I never hit her. I never did drugs, ever. And, you know, she'd be like, we'd be arguing and she'd be like, hit me, hit me, hit me. And I'm like, no. She's like, why? Because you're a pussy, you won't hit me? And I'm like, no. Because the second I ever touch you, like that. The second I do that, you're going to run with it. Yeah, oftentimes when you get to the end, there's that one gimpy one that has hardly anything on it. But, you know, what are you going to do? Just crumple it up and throw it in there with the rest. And, I mean, as you can see, you get a lot. You get a lot of cheese wontons out of one pack of these. I mean, look at that. Look at all the shit that's left. That's at least 2.5 blocks more of cream cheese in there. And one thing, like I said, is these are so reactive that you want to keep them away from air. So you want to put that into a airless thing. Just foof the air out of it. Foof. And throw that shit immediately into the fridge. Now here's a step that I missed. Sugar. Ah, I just realized. That's well, not my ex-wife. This is Taylor's handwriting on this still. Anyway, sugar. See, one thing I saw at some of the Chinese places we'd go to is they would have sugar, like, around the rim of the wontons, which was weird, you know. It's like, I think how they did it was they probably dipped them in oil and then went and, like, dipped them in sugar, and then it got around the rim. But I do it a little bit different because I just don't give a damn. I'll go like this. I'll just drop it straight in. And you can be really clumsy with it, you know. Just try to get into the cheese, you know. And it really doesn't matter because, you know, air fryers are so damn easy to clean. Oh my god, I love these things. You'll just have a bit of caramelized sugar there, and that comes off like nothing. And it seems like I'm pummeling them with sugar, but it really doesn't matter. It all comes out tasting fucking awesome. Be stupid with the sugar. And this step isn't necessary, but I've been really liking it lately, so I have a hard time not doing it from now on. I know I'm being anal now at this point. I need to stop that. There are times to be anal and times not to. Okay, pretty much close her up. You put it on a bake roast. Believe it or not, you're not putting it on air crisp. You're putting it on bake roast. And you just keep it at 375. It doesn't really matter. And you make sure the time is 9. 9's good for this. It might even be too much. 8 or 9. You know what? I'm going to go with 8. Yeah. Yeah, that seems to be about the right amount of time. They come out like, holy fuck, that's hot. Yeah. Boop. Ow. 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 Yeah. Ah. See, normally... Oh, motherfucker! That was hot. Normally, I used to cook these in a big deep fryer filled with, like, burning oil. And it would make them more bubbly, but as you can see, it's more flooby there. But even putting it in more, like a minute more, would just make this really unpalatably too crispy. And, you know, I think when it comes to air fryers, I'm actually doing it wrong. Like, if I don't want to have that squishy aspect there, I should probably separate them better so the air flows better around each. But, you know, I wasn't paying attention, so... Oh, God. It's so hot. Ah. Oh, shit. Missed one. Boop. Yeah. So, it makes you a nice little pile there, doesn't it? That's a manly pile of, not crab rangoon. Cheese wonton. Now, you see, there is... Oh, God, I almost put my arm on that fucking shit. There is one problem with this stuff, and I'll get to that in a minute.
I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Bullshit.
Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time.
You rubbed her with a fucking cigar.
These allegations are false. And I need to go back to work for the American people.
Alright guys, so
Jesus.
Stuff. So Elon Musk tweeted last night. He tweeted out, "If I die under mysterious circumstances, it's been nice knowing you." Just a little bit ago, I said, "You're angering the right people, Elon Musk. Thank you." And it's George Soros, Clinton, and Obama staffers and European governments are behind anti-Musk campaign to force big corporations to boycott Twitter
No shit.
after Elon demanded to know who funds these organizations. And then, just a couple days after Elon Musk was inquiring about this, suddenly he starts to tweet this out: "If I die under mysterious circumstances, it's been nice knowing ya." It's a little weird. It's definitely a little weird. Elon Musk, I think, knows a lot more than what he's letting on about. But
what we can see from the 1900s to the 1990s is that the magnetic North Pole has migrated 500 miles. From 1990 to 2018, it goes up to, on this scale, we've got to update it, but what it has done is cover 1,000 miles in less than half time. This is an indication of an accelerating magnetic North Pole. What you would expect, like the experiment shows, that as it gets closer to 40 degrees, guess what it does? It accelerates. And you're getting the warning ahead of it. If you think, just like these people thought, this is going to avoid you, you're wrong, because you're on this planet and you're going to go through these changes just the same as everybody else. The only reason, as I've said time and time before, is that you have not been caught up in this is just mere luck.
This is Davros. Elite Unit 7 will go to the incubator room. All survival maintenance systems are to be closed down. The Dalek creatures are to be destroyed.
Heavenly order cannot be countermanded.
This is Davros. This is Davros. My last order is cancelled. Repeat, cancelled. No action is to be taken. Obey me. I created you. I am the master, not you. I. Our programming does not permit us to acknowledge that any creature is superior to the Daleks. You cannot exist without me. You cannot replace. We are programmed to survive. We have the ability to develop in any way necessary to ensure that survival. May exit blocked by explosion for a length of at least 1,000 yards.
And that's the problem with these. You're left with an empty plate and the realization that you've just eaten an entire block of cream cheese by yourself. It should be disgusting, but somehow it's not. And you're hungry like a minute later. Yeah. Have a good day.